Welcome back to This Old Jalopy and Project Frankenwagon. And I'm getting ready to start putting the body panels back on. So that's what's going to be happening in this video. And I'm really excited. It's like coming together finally. First thing I need to do is get this bolted up on there or welded on there. This is the front, so this is where I need to cut this out and add a grill. And you can see there's a bunch of new welds and some Pour 15 all around it. So I had to, get this prepped, get this fixed up and repaired a little bit. This is a new repair. So I'll just show you how to do that now. Okay, here you can see the front apron is what it's called. And the strip of metal that the fenders bolt to. And down there is where the bumper bolts to as well, and that's all rotten. And you can see it's in pretty bad condition. Like, here's a close-up. It's super rotten. You can see the broken bolts in there. And it was just like, it was just riveted together. That was the only thing holding it together was rivets. And so no self-respecting hot rodder would leave it that way. Here in this photo you can see how banged up the front is too. And I used the hammer and dolly to straighten it out a little bit. So I took it all apart and I started treating the rust and grinding as much as I can away and whipping it really good with a knotted wire wheel. Just whipped it really good with that knotted wiring wheel to remove any scaled up rust. And here's how I'm treating the rust as well. So I'm using that Permatex rust treatment on the left. And then I let it chemically do its thing for only about 20 minutes. I mean, it turns that rusty metal black, like, immediately. And then I spray on that solvent there to wipe away the residue, because they say that residue is supposed to cure for 24 hours or harden after 24 hours. But in the next step, I used Pour 15, and you want bare rusty metal for the Pour 15 to adhere to. It just sticks to that rusty metal like nothing I've ever seen. I started making patch panels. I cut out the really rotten stuff. If you go back to the last image there, you can see on the left I cut out the rotten crap. And here's the patch panels, and I used my my bead roller with a step bit to add that area there for some brackets for the front bumper to bolt to. And I'll get to that at a later stage, but for now that'll help. I welded it up, and here in this next photo, this is the back side of the weld, so you can see the penetration. And I had a couple guys comment on my welds, and I just wanted to show the penetration to show you that they're full heat, they're full strength, full penetration, and there's no issue with the beads laying flat or anything. They don't have to be pretty to be strong. And then I welded all three pieces back together. And there you go. So this is going to go on the front here. And you can see what I did. When I was taking this all apart, I just cut this off right there and put it all right here. And I need to weld this back up solid. And it'll also get welded down here. And I was thinking, how am I going to do that? What's the best way to do that and ensure that everything lines up correctly, all the body panels line up correctly? I came up with this idea where I'll bolt the fenders to this here on both sides, and it'll be a lot heavier, but I'll use my hoist to suspend it in the air and get it into the perfect position in alignment with the doors. So I'll have to put the doors on first. And get it into the perfect alignment with the doors. Then bolt it here and here and down there at the bottom by the rockers. And then once it's bolted solid in those places, while also suspended in the front, then I'll weld it up. And I don't see why that's a bad idea. I think that's a good idea. So that's what I'm going to do. tricky. Yeah, fucking sweet. Listen to the sound this makes. Oh, I love that sound. That sounds good. Oh, and that was my wife helping me install this. So thanks, baby. Love ya. One more time. I gotta hear it one more time. Yeah. Okay, I've got the front fender here. This is the driver's side. And before I bolt it to the front apron, we're going to call it, I need to take care of this inner edge here. So I'm going to have some issue with some tire clearance, and I might have to actually like do some sheet metal modifications to this, possibly cut off the arch and move it up. I think that's the leading idea right now. But at the very least, I'll have to do what they call roll the fender. And there's literally like a roller. There's a tool where you roll it in, and there's like a polyurethane wheel that would roll it. And you just need to tuck this up. And instead of doing that, I'm going to use a hammer and dolly, because I don't have that tool. And the tool is nice if you're worried about the paint chipping or not. I'm not worried about the paint chipping or not. So, yeah, hammer and dolly fender rolling. Let's get to it. Okay, now here's the plan. I'm going to use this dolly. It's going to tuck in here like this. Then I'll use a body hammer and fold it over. And I've rounded, this was a pointy, this was more pointy, but I've rounded it off just a little bit. And first though, before I do that, I'm gonna maybe remove just a little bit. I can't remove too much, because I don't want to weaken this fender. So that's what I'm gonna do first. Here's all that I removed, just a little bit. And let me just say that this fender's in really bad shape to begin with, and I know that. And I might have to get a new fender. They make new ones, they're $300 each. But I'm not gonna do that right now. Maybe during the restoration phase I'll get new fenders, but right now, when I put this back together, it'll be in rat rod mode. Big time rat rod mode. So this will be fine. Here's the problem with the fenders, really. That. And up here. And over here. And the other one, it's even worse actually. The other one's even worse. So I'm not too nervous about doing this either. Alright, well here goes nothing. See how this goes. Okay, this isn't really working. I mean, you can just barely tell there's a difference on this side than this side, and I'm pretty sure you can't tell a difference at all when on the camera, on the TV. So I have another idea. Just gonna do this. And disclaimer, I really don't know what I'm doing. So if you're looking at this and you're hoping that you can glean some information from what I'm doing here, this is probably not the right way to do it at all. So I'm just gonna do that about a million times. Okay, now I got it where I want it. Let's see if you can see up there. You know, I might get a flashlight and you can see in there a little better. This is pretty much, I can just barely fit my finger behind it. And that'll allow me to clean it out because now I've created a pocket for mud and shit to get stuck in. So once a year I'll have to clean it out, and maybe I'll even, you know, fill it up with seam sealer or something. And the paint definitely chipped off, you know, and I knew that was going to happen. That's okay. Well, it really didn't take that long once I started cheating. I'll do that to all 4 fenders, and that's not a big deal. It wasn't that hard. Okay, this one now, this is the passenger side, and this is messed up. This one's definitely been in a collision. Like the other one, this was a nice rounded arch, and here, look at it. It's pushed in. So I'm gonna try and pull it out, and like I just got this cheap hammer and dolly set from Harbor Freight, and I don't really know what I'm doing. But I've been watching lots of YouTube videos, and maybe I can figure it out. But what probably will happen is that this sheet metal is stretched, and the way you unstretch it is you heat it up with a torch, and you do that right on, you know, the highest and lowest points, I think. And first I'll try it with the hammer and dolly, but I doubt I'll be able to get far enough. Just kind of an experiment, I guess. Okay, to my shock, really, I think I actually got it fixed. I was, you know, massaging over here, I think these are the high spots and this is the low spot. And I got tired of doing that, and I just took the hammer and just started whacking it, you know, no dolly involved. And now it's fixed. So, I don't think it's perfect, but hey, it's gonna be a rat rod, so it's good enough, I think. Cool. Alright guys, check this out. I got the wheels and tires on there, and I dropped it on the ground, and I'm gonna start putting the fenders up there, and we'll see how much clearance we have now. Alright, now with the door on, I can line this up and know a little more about how it's going to fit. Alright. Yeah. You could drive in a perfectly straight line and only turn when there's no bumps. And it would clear though. There's just a little tiny bit of clearance. But that's enough to get by for the time being, maybe. Maybe I don't have to worry about the fender wheel well arches just yet. Let's check the back though. And first, before I do that into the back fender, I'll have to roll this in like I did on the front fender. This is so cool, man. Looks so good. So now, I think my two options are like cut this wheel arch, like cut it off, cut out a strip like about an inch or inch and a half, move it up and weld it back in. So literally move up the wheel arch an inch and a half. The other option is to like stretch it, and that would be easier and way faster. I think it'll be faster and easier. The problem with that though is it kind of changes this body line. So if you're looking down, when your line of sight is looking down the body, the length of the body, you would see like a bulge. So it kind of alter the stock, proportions and dimensions and the stock appearance. That would be altered a little bit. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say considering this whole project, but if I could keep that, that'd be nice. So those are my two options, and I'll have to deliberate on them. So what that means is this will be a two-part episode, and I hope that this isn't too much of a cliffhanger, because I still have the front to do. If you remember, I was working on the fenders, and the whole idea is that both the fenders and the front apron all together, such that it's a front clip, and then I can position the whole thing in there and see how it all lines up, as opposed to doing it piece by piece. Alright, that'll be the next episode. Stay tuned. See you guys.